Picture this: a boundless stretch of open sea, two large ships collide. It's not at all uncommon. But how is this even possible? Well, in most cases, it's an human error, but what is interesting is that many times when the crew realizes that they are going to collide with another ship, it's already too late to react and to do anything about that. It's because of the ship's inertia in the water, resulting in its inability to change direction on time. Changing direction on time is a characteristic that can apply also to organizations. We could call this agile, business agility, or adaptiveness. But organizations do not collide with each other. Rather, agility or adaptiveness helps them to navigate and stay relevant on the market. We could call this business resilience. So we want our organization to stay relevant on the market, and what is crucial for that is adaptiveness. So let's start from the why, how, what of agile or adaptiveness. So the why: we want the ability of an organization to work on whatever is important whenever they want it and at no extra cost. This would be the North Star of agility. How we are going to achieve this? By bringing business people and technical people closer together, by focusing on reducing lead time, and by increasing transparency. With what we can accomplish that? With the whole Agile toolbox, with principles like whole product focus, system thinking, empirical process control, with frameworks like extreme programming, Scrum, Kanban, Management 3.0, DevOps, with practices like impact mapping, like behavioral driven development, specification by example, continuous integration, and so on. Above that, we have many experiments from various organizations around the world, and among that, it's our LeSS. I believe that large-scale Scrum enables the true potential in the people, and by giving them freedom and the means to tackle real hard problems. Hi, my name is Błażej Drobniuch. I see some familiar faces, but if you are new, feel free to scan this QR code and follow me on LinkedIn. I'm an Agile coach, Scrum Master, programmer, and trainer, and what I do is I bring business people and technical people closer together. Today, I'm going to talk about inspiring journey of a kaikaku flip forward that drastically improved business agility and involved 11 teams, around 136 people in an e-commerce company in Poland. I won't say which company because I want to be more truthful about everything what happened. We moved away from modern waterfall and component groups, siloed departments of architects, UX, and CX, and a web of coordinators. I will start from the end. We managed to run this workshop. Who of you is familiar with LeSS product definition workshops? Great. We also ran LeSS Sprint Planning 1, LeSS Multi-Team Sprint Review, and LeSS Multi-Team Sprint Retrospective, and also backlog refinement. Who is familiar with these events? Great. We also ran LeSS Remote Multi-Team Self-Designing Team Workshop. Who is familiar with this? Okay. We also have Remote Multi-Team Product Level Definition of Done Workshop. Oh, least popular. Probably because it's at the end of transformation. And because of remote, we also run some remote get-to-know workshops because people don't get to know each other so easily in remote. There are already many successful agile stories and guides how to run these workshops. You can find them on LeSS Works page. I also recommend you the YouTube video of Avast Flip Forward experience and Jürgen Desmet's from Good to Great. I won't focus on the workshops because actually I believe you can design it. It's not the hardest part of the transformation. What is the hardest part is I want to tell you a story how to really transform to LeSS with the transformation bottom up and top down, despite learning of laws of organization behavior and without any external agile consultants. Who of you is familiar with org topologies? Org topologies is designed by Alexander Krivinsky and Roland Flem. And actually they are here on the LeSS conference, so feel free to approach them. It's an organization design matrix that is great to drive the conversation around, two things: adaptivity by moving towards this side, and resource utilization and reducing costs of the resources here. So here we can draw ecosystem of many organizations and start the conversation. How adaptive are they? So on the right top corner, we have autonomous team with whole product focus. You can imagine one team that can change its direction. CEO on something, they just change the direction anytime, no problem with that. Most adaptive. The problem starts when we introduce most team into the system. Why the problem start? Because many people dump ideas, solutions, making the organization actually sub-optimize and moving it towards this direction and doing it less adaptive. And today I'm going to tell you about the organization that looked like this before the transformation. So we had some backend API teams, 3. There were functional teams. Here we move from the left to where we have individual work, functional groups, cross-functional, cross-component work, but dependent of other teams, and cross-functional, cross-component, multi-learning work where the teams aren't dependent about anything. So API backend teams that were really just functional groups. And they were focused on tasks, the other axis. Here we have focus on tasks, focus on features, focus on product parts, and whole product focus. So 3 API teams. We also had 4 front-end teams that were much more focused on features. That's why they are much more here. And they were cross-functional and cross-component, but still dependent from other teams. We have a group of product owners, which actually weren't owning any product, but just helping coordinate the teams and analyzing the features. I would call them business analysts. We have also a group that were much more focused on the product part, which is the whole channel of mobile applications, which were the Android teams and iOS teams. That's why we are moving towards this direction and also towards this. And we have a functional group of UX and CX. Additionally to that, we have a team of architects in an ivory tower and a group of coordinators gathering all the ideas. Above that, we have the B level, which was the head of IT, my friend Michał. We were together in this journey. Also the head of business and head of architects. And what was the story of the transformation? So Michał got the task from the C level, from the management. Make the teams more effective. And now I want to invite you to help Michał to choose the KPIs for this goal. So for making the teams more effective. Feel free to join Menti with your phones. And so you either go in Menti.com and put the code or scan this QR code. And the question I want you to ask her is the question that had Michał. What are the best KPIs for measuring teams' effectiveness? I give you 3 minutes for that. And please feel free to come up with ideas for the KPIs. I will move to Menti. We have customer value. What other best KPIs for measuring team effectiveness if you would be on place of a head of IT? So get Michal's task on. So value delivered, implementation time, lead time. What other KPIs? Responsiveness, user impacted delivery, or user impact delivered. Feature adoption rate. Any more ideas? Value delivered. Still more. Great. This is nice slide to even scan. So we measured a lot of things, from story points which I hate, from the predictability, for the cycle times of the teams, but also what we measured is the lead time. And how it did it look like? Let's go back to this slide. So I will use again the ecosystem. So there were some ideas for the features, for the real making the business impact, gathered from the CEO, of course, from the back office workers, from the front office workers, from every person around the organization. There was a mail you could set the business ideas to implement in our web and mobile applications. And also, for example, UX and CX had some ideas to do it. And the ideas were flowing towards the coordinators, and this took around 20 days. Then the coordinators refine the ideas, make sure they don't repeat it with each other, and also make them more clear. Then the ideas move to a meeting with architects and C-level, and of course CEO, where there some kind arrange the ideas, and the architects make sure how to decompose all the ideas for individual teams. So they needed to estimate for individual team and so on. And it took around 120 days. Then the features that came to the component teams, and it's worth to mention that what is a feature for a component team is only a task for a feature team. So the features that were going to the component teams were needed to be again reanalyzed, because it's already took a long time from the people that have the idea to the people that will deliver the idea. Then if the feature would arrive to the individual component teams, they would start to work with each other to deliver the feature. And it would took in average 117 days. In total, it was 288 days in average. So 9 months. So that's this is how much a baby needs to be delivered. So this is a lot for a commons company. Why is that? So when we have teams that depend with each other, have individual parts of the products, so we could call them component teams, they don't take the features and just work and finish it. It looks much more like this. So for example, for a feature, a team 1 orange starts working on a feature, then it moves to the blue team. A blue team works a little bit on it, then it's moved to the green team. Green team works a little bit on it, then it's moved to the orange team, to blue team again, and orange team. And a question to you, what do you think? How much of the life of this feature, of the lead time of the feature, no one's work on it? 60%. 80%. 50%. 90%. Okay, and the correct answer is around 80%. Why is that? It's because the queuing theory. So while the blue team is waiting for the orange team, it starts to work on another feature. When the orange team finishes its work, they are still working on another feature. So this is a huge problem. And that's why we focus on lead time in our transformation. The second thing, let's go into Conway's law. I want you to close your eyes. I will monitor. Close your eyes. Now imagine you are in a company that will design a perfect animal for the African savanna, a perfect apex predator. And you arrange your organization that will deliver that product, a perfect animal, into component teams. You will have a component teams for the legs of the animal. You will have a component teams for the neck of the animal. You will have the component teams for the back, for the tail, for the eyes, for the ears. And now imagine that all the teams gives their best. How will the animal look like? Well, like this. So the leg teams were giving really their best. We have a fast animal. But the neck team was thinking like, this animal needs to watch over the savanna. Let's make a long neck. The back animal, boring. They have nothing to do. So they think, let's make it more hard. And this is the result that is not obvious of Conway's law and organizing your organization around component teams. So we have a long because of the component teams organization, we have really long lead time, 9 months, and we deliver this product like this. So we have KPIs for lead time. We have the typical symptoms of component teams. What is next for the transformation? What I do is I try to approach the people in the organization to actually understand the problems that are around this organization. And I always come across this for people. First, the pirates. They say, we can do that in our organization. They followed with, we can't do that in our organization, and they say million corner cases and many reasons why the transformation will fail. They also state that the organization is some kind special and not meant to be agile. They also say that the transformation will damage the product, the business, the architecture, and the code. And last but not least, they say, we are already agile, twisting the meaning of the words. Meet the pirates. You probably know the pirates. The second group is the British Royal Navy. They are in the opposite of the pirates, much more optimistic. They say, you will tell us what to do to be agile. But it's either because they are naive or because they are stating it for the PR reasons. They will stop backing you up on the first problem. The next group are the Vikings. They will say, we need to figure out how to make it work for us. These are the guys I'm looking for in the transformation. They always ask one question at a time, listening to you out and trying to find the answers for the problems they have in the organization. And the last group are the sailors. They say, they focus on delivering the product. Then they don't care about the process, about the politics and the structures. What is interesting about them is that the pirates can easily take them over to be more pessimistic. So try to stay, make them apart as most as possible. And how I can encounter those people? I do one-on-ones, but I also run open workshops. My motto is, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness. What I do, I don't ask if I can run workshops. I just send an invite to all the organization. Hell, here is a workshop, check it out. I run workshops on product management. I run workshop on extreme programming. I run workshop on discovery agile organization when I talk about actually feature teams versus component teams. These workshops are for the people to learn, but meanwhile, I try to gather from them the symptoms and what they are talking about the organization. So I really recommend you to try this out. So now I'm going to tell about my favorite feature to align with C-level when you make a transformation. We already have the chosen KPI, lead time. But what we actually want to accomplish in the transformation? Never say we want to implement less. Never say we want to implement extreme programming, because the pirates will sabotage it as soon as possible. What you want to align is, check this out. I use the before after bridge selling tool for selling things. The before is, how does the world look like right now? And for the before, I actually state the things that the pirates told me, because the things that are making the problems currently in the organization can actually justify why we need to transform. In the after, I will state how will the world look like after the transformation. This is what is C-level caring about. They don't care about less. And last but not least, we also show that we know what we will do. So the bridge. So what we will do. Check this out for the organization I was working with. So how does it look like for before? These are the symptoms from the pirates. Thank you, pirates. So business ideas are delivered after many months. One problem. Excessive external coordination was necessary. Another problem. There was a huge Reanalysis overhead. Another problem. There were complicated architecture. You know why? Conway's law. There were lack of knowledge sharing. You know why? Components team. There were lack of trust between departments. You know what? Component teams. And there were frustration and low motivation in the teams. You know why? Because always when you have component teams, there are teams that are overloaded, always, and they were really demotivated. And also there was the Chinese whisper telephone game in a common practice for work handover. Last but not least, some teams were overloaded, like I said, while others have to invent work. Feel free to scan this. What is interesting about this? This is the symptom of all organizations that have component teams. But again, your job when you're making a transformation is to gather the symptoms again from the people around the organization, because it will be handy later. I will talk about it. Next, the after. Ideas, we promised to the C-level that ideas will be implemented in a couple of sprints. That teams will always work on what is most important. That developers with a business context will contribute to the analysis. That teamwork on solution we will have teamwork on solutions that have a real impact on business, and that we will have a focus on the users and their needs, and also we will have easier organization scaling. Smells like less? Hope. And last but not least, self-management of teams and less need for coordination. This is also crucial to be aligned with the C-level. I will talk about this later. How we will accomplish this? With less? No. We will do things like this. Business and developers will work close to each other. We already did an experiment which was called project availability, where we just make the business and developers sit with each other. It worked. Next, teams deliver customer-oriented solutions. We will base on the experience of agile organization around the world. Me and Michał already work in organization that adopted less. So great. We will simplify structure, make clear roles and responsibilities. Also smells like less. We will use proven agile practices. And last but not least, we will involve all departments in building e-commerce. Okay, we have the main goal, making our teams more effective. We will have the main KPI, lead time, improve. We promised 50%, loco. We would have also the before-after bridge alignment with the C-level. And what's next? We have a plan for the C-level. So we planned that we will start from the open space, our plans, where we presented our plans for the whole IT and business and architectures. Then we will move to a cross-functional, cross-component feature team experiment. One team, because Like on the previous talk, we have management has really anxiety to try new things out. Then we would have some workshops open about discovering agile organization, about design thinking, about managing product or extreme programming. Then we will set up IT infrastructure. So before that, each component team owned their own code. Now, each team will have access to the whole product code base. You need to think about that. So this was the step. Next, we would define what is our product, because we already have some products, so components called products, which the customer actually couldn't care less. And next step would be the self-designing team workshop. Yeah, big thing. We were in remote, by the way. Next point of the plan was starting to move towards the new team. So first, after the self-designing team workshops, all the teams were new where they would work in the new teams, but then they will gradually run as they would finish their work in the components. Next step would be to design the new flow of work. This is an important step, which is not so covered in the LeSS homepage, which is where to get the ideas from and how to transfer from old process to new. And next, it would be run and product level definition of the workshops. We have a plan, we have KPIs, we have a goal, we have the before-after bridge alignment with the C-level. But we have B-level Michał, head of IT, B-level of business, and B-level of architects. Who of you is familiar with Larman's laws of organization behavior? Yeah, two people. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that?
Organizations are implicitly optimized to avoid any meaningful change, especially in between the C-level and the actual people who do the job.
So these guys will be the saboteurs of the transformations. Okay. Do you know this matrix? If we have vision of the transformation, skills necessary to run the change, incentiveness, resources, and action plan, then we will have success. If we have vision, skills, incentiveness, resources, but lack the action plan, we will have false starts. If we have vision, skills, incentiveness, action plan, but lack resources, we have frustration. If we have vision, skills, resources, action plan, but lack incentiveness, then we have resistance. If we have vision, incentiveness, resources, action plan, but lack skills, we have an anxiety. And we have skills, incentiveness, resources, action plan, but lack the vision, we have confusion. Now, think that you are in B level and you want to sabotage a transformation because you will lose power because of less. What do you think? What you could make in being missing in that? Resources. Vision. This is one. What else? Incentives. Yes. So Michał is the head of these guys, but not these folks. What else? So our experience was that everything was missing. Even if we had clear plan, clear KPIs, clear before after bridge, and even the symptoms from the pirates. So what was the impact of this? So we started implementing the plan. We are moving toward this. So we have an open space. We have started cross-functional, cross-component team, so feature team experiment. We would have workshop of IT and business. We would set up a new IT infrastructure, and we would define our product. What was our product? So we defined the product with all the organization that one product is the web application and of the e-commerce, and the second product is the mobile. I'm not so happy about that because I think these are only channels, but this is a nice start. So what was next? So the B level that were sabotaging us actually realized oh heck, it will going to happen. So we had, we also managed to include the UX designers in the teams. So this really have the impact on the business. So the business, when they realize this, they were like children. We have back and forth on what we actually aligned here. We have the open space with other plans here, but after 3 months, they were somehow of brain dead and did say, no, what do you mean? No, we didn't understand each other. So it was so ridiculous that the C-level needed to intervene, and they were treating us like children. Fun experience, but anyway, we managed to do it. So, one thing. So they think that we need to get the old people in the organization and do a process emerging workshop. So sounds like a agile thing to make the people design their process. Well, most cases, most the people in the organization are the sailors. They don't care about the process. So these workshops was really painful, but we somehow managed to go back to the initial idea of the process, how it would to look like. We would run self-designing team workshop. We would run it in remote. We have half day for that. We failed this time. It was too little time. So we didn't create the final picture of the new feature teams, but the people have the glimpse of how it will look like, and they will align them with their managers. Then we had some public chat mocking. Do you know probably in transformation, when you have meetings for 130 people, there's always one person that is only, instead of taking the voice, mocking the chat. My advice to approach them is to say, great, you have some insights, let's have a talk. We have a recurring day when you can talk with us on Friday, for example. But still, it was painful. We started the new teams. I again didn't ask for permission. I did run team lunch workshops where I did talk about how we will work in new teams. And there I was actually teaching them less. We will work with less. No alignment with the B level or C level. Only Michał knew about that. So success. Then the business again have some dump ideas about dual track agile. It's a nice concept, but mostly it's waterfall in implementation. Also, they promoted RISE. Who is familiar with RISE? RISE is a prioritization approach that you divide some things, add, multiply, and you get a magic number that something is important or not. It can be useful, but it's not agile. But we actually managed to agilize that. How? We introduced the role of actual product owner, less product owner. We called him chief product owner. On the beginning, Michał was the product owner, so he was a fake product owner, also less practice. But then we actually make an internal recruitation for the chief product owner. The time is great. And then we finish with the product level definition done. We then started the sprint planning 1 cycle, the multi-team sprint review, multi-team sprint retrospectives. Less implementation. So let's use the org topologist tool again and show how we moved from one ecosystem to the other, because you probably are interested in that. So this was the old before the transformation. Our products was the web and the mobile, and we moved toward this. So we have cross-functional, cross-component feature teams that were delivering end-to-end features for the web application, and they were not dependent at all of other teams. We will have still mobile and Android iOS teams that were dependent of these few teams because here was the API competences. But yeah, we will have a group architects. They actually didn't sabotage our transformation. This was something new for me because always the architects sabotage because they lose power. Why they lose power? Before, in component teams, they decide what will take how long, they're divided into features. When we use feature teams, they just mentors. So for me, agile architects are mentors of great architectures. And the teams actually go the other way around. They ask the architects how to work, how to design the architecture and take ownership for better architecture. And there are great agile architects. So I'm a fan of architects, but agile architects, like mentors. And we have, of course, the chief product owner. So what was the flow? The ideas were flowing directly to the feature teams. And the feature teams have the concept of the whole product focus because of the remote multi-team backlog refinement and the sprint planning one, and of course, multi-team sprint review. So let's summarize. We reduced the lead time by 50%. This is what is in my opinion, missing in many less talks. We don't talk about the business success. We also ask ourselves, what is the best measure of adaptiveness? How would you measure adaptiveness? Lead time is in between. How to measure that the company actually can change its direction? It's lead time. It's not an obvious measure. It's what the CEO says. And the CEO said, I finally feel that we are working on what is most important. That's all, folks. Successful, less agile transformation. Some applause, please. But wait. Well, it was hard. Everyone was on the board. We managed to move towards less, and we succeed. We celebrated. Oh gosh. So you can't imagine what happened. While we transformed and had the saboteurs, and we have a lot of back and forth with the C-level, someone needed to pay the price of the change. Someone's head needed to be cut. And the C-level decided to let Michał go and leave only the managers, because he hired the managers to manage the feature teams, and they were great at managing because they were feature teams. Many people left. They were involved in transformation because Michał was really important for them. And also, one other thing, what was happening, a stupid thing. So the B-level also used the pirate approach. They listened to their people, what they are saying, and their people were saying, we have too many meetings. When I introduce all the LeSS events, I talk about it's not mandatory. If you want to join and you see value, join. On the description of the meetings, it was listed. It is not mandatory. You don't need to join. But still, the B level go to the C level and told, too many meetings. The people are not working. So the C level was tired about that, and they canceled the less remote multi-team sprint review, the less remote multi-team sprint planning one, and less remote multi-team backlog refinement, and also retrospective. What was the impact of that? So the org topologist tools is really great for that. The autonomous team with whole product focus lose the whole product focus. They moved here. They were just feature factories. So the product owners were aligned with the product owners were aligned with the chief product owner, and they have the full product focus somehow. But the autonomous teams were only working on features. This is also a symptom of the stickiness of old roles when we make a transformation, because what to do with the product owners? We don't want to fire them in less transformation. We need to keep them somehow. So they were disempowering the teams from taking ownership of the features, and they helped with the cancellation of the events. Thank you very much. Last but not least, I think that let's unleash the true potential in the people. I believe that. And that, again, it gives the people the freedom and the means to tackle really hard problems. And I witnessed it a lot. So I'm happy that you're here and you are less enthusiasts. Great. Any questions? Oh.
Do you think that the transformation wouldn't fail if they haven't fired the CTO?
Oh, this is nice question. The transformation didn't fail. Till this day, they have feature teams.
Okay.
And they also experimenting to actually also mix the competences of mobile teams into the feature teams. So even make the much more product focus. But yeah, some people left because Michał was kicked in. We were demotivated, so we didn't fight for the less events. So from this perspective, the transformation failed because Michał was fired.
You're absolutely right. It didn't fail. It just wasn't as successful.
Yeah, we didn't stick. Yeah, great question. Any other questions? One question there.
Who was part of the sprint review that you had?
Great
What was
question.
the participants?
So before the transformation, each team have their own sprint review. And as you know, no one cares about the API team sprint review. No one cares. After the transformation, we have a multi-team sprint review where all teams participated. And again, we said, you only need to be on your part. During the rest part of the sprint review, you only need to be on standby. We work in remote, so actually we can use the benefits of remote, that you can code, and if someone wants something from you, they can just write you and you can answer because you are on standby. So everyone participated, but each team has its time slot to activate the communication channel. So we didn't manage to have a bazaar sprint review. Well, yes or no? Yes and no, because we created it on Miro, and we have breakout rooms like links for the individual calls. So the business could come and call into individual team to talk a little bit more about these features.
So you had external participants, not only internal participants.
This is a great question. We also, we have the business participants. We have the, we didn't have the CEO. Sometimes we have C-level. We wanted to go next stage to invite some people from actual back office, front office, and the brick and mortar workers that we can actually give the ideas, but we didn't get there.
Thank you.
One more question.
So you mentioned a lot of interesting and depressing organizational dynamics.
It's
went
what
into that.
motivates.
But I'm also wondering if the technical side of the transition. So were there any problems with transitioning towards more end-to-end feature teams? How did that?
Great question. Great question. So because it was an e-commerce, the technology stack wasn't really that complex. So the only thing we needed to make sure is the access of all the teams to all the code base and to somehow decide how we will work. What is crucial for that is test automation, which we lacked. Our next step after the product definition of done workshops would be focused more on technical excellence and the technical part of the software development, but do it iteratively. Again, because Michał was let go, Scrum Master left, I also left, and I wasn't the spark for the continuation of that. The developers for sure reported the problems with working in feature teams, so they work with the IT managers, and I know for sure that the head of IT the testers were really giving their best to make the testing part work. But this is a great question. So next, what would be, if we will still have Michał on board, would be the focus on technical excellence and maybe move toward trunk-based development.
Thanks.
Sorry, you can ask.
What was Michal's role again?
So Michał was the head of IT, so he was here. So under his wings was the API teams, product owners, web and front-end mobile, and also the Scrum Masters. So he was the head of IT. There was a head of business, which has coordinators, UX designers, tech designers, and also some roles like law departments and so on. And there were head of architects. So yeah, it was a really interesting experience that you have the success, you celebrate, and then you learn that head of IT is let go. He actually couldn't come today. He really wanted, but he had in his new company annual planning, and he get also additionally to the head of IT the role of product owner because the product owner left, so he couldn't come. But he sends you greets. Hi, Michał. Any questions? Okay, buen provecho, bon appetit, smacznego.